Hi, I'm Ryan Bonds, and welcome to this Cleveland Stater podcast on the Keys to the Classics Beethoven, Mozart, and Haydn event that was held on January 21st, 2018. I'm joined by the Associate Professor of Music and Chair Department of Music, Associate Professor and Saxophone Coordinator of Jazz Studies at Cleveland State, Dr. John Perrine. Thank you for joining me, Dr. Perrine.
No problem.
Well, first of all, what is the Keys to the Classics event in your own words, and what's the function of it overall?
Well, this event that we presented on Sunday is part of a larger series called Keyboard Conversations, where we bring in world-renowned pianist Jeffrey Siegel from New York, and he does about 3 or 4 presentations for us a year. This is his 30th year doing it, and he titles either each of his seasons that he comes in or the concerts. So what Jeffrey does is he gives a lecture explaining the historical and musical background of each piece he's going to play. And he points out things like here's what, Beethoven was doing in his life when he wrote this piece, and here are some things that I'm going to point out about this work. So basically what Jeffrey does is he tries to make the music really relatable to the audience. So he begins each concert with a lecture on, for example, maybe one of each of the pieces, and then he'll either play the piece in total, which he does at the end, or he'll play snippets of it and explain what he just did. So the keys to the classics, in this case with the composers he chose, were all classical composers. That is to say, composers that are contemporary with people like Mozart, and in this case he's using Haydn and early Beethoven to sort of explain what the commonalities with that kind of music is. So in a nutshell, that's what he's been doing, and they always have very big crowds, and he does a great job doing it.
What were the pieces played this year?
Well, on Sunday he did classical compositions. Other concerts he's done French music, Russian music, music of German Romantic composers that have ties to vocal music, and he tied in the poetry that they use for other pieces. It's a wide variety of material.
So, would you say that for students here, it's about getting them a wide variety of music in terms of lessons, or
It's I think the benefit of students to go hear it, and these are mostly the most of the audience that goes are actually people from the community, but for them and for the students, I think the best benefit is to just give them another way to understand the music instead of just letting a 40-minute piece of classical music wash over them to explain it, and then they understand it better.
because of the context
Yes.
within? Okay, so you have a wide variety of experiences yourself, namely performing in Russia and being a founding member of the Red Stick Saxophone Quartet, which has gotten critical acclaim. What do your experiences? How does it make you really appreciate these kinds of classics and the context behind them as well?
Well, I kind of tend to do with concerts that with my current saxophone quartet, which is called Neo Tesares. We've given a lot of concerts in venues like churches and libraries, where I take a lot of time to do sort of a miniature version of what Mr. Siegel does, and really explain a lot of the context of the pieces. We try to do interesting variety of music ourselves, including improvising soundtracks to silent movies, this kind of thing, which people really tend to enjoy. But that's kind of what we share in common in terms of how we program and present music.
So for the Keys of the Classic event, how was the turnout for this particular one on Sunday?
It's typical of Jeffrey's concerts. Wagen Auditorium holds about 700 people, and usually he draws in about 150, 200 people at a time. And it's a subscription series, so it's generally the same crowd comes back, and he's built up a very loyal audience for that.
Since this is a subscription series, like there are going to be more of these events, and when would
Mhm.
the next one be for other people to get involved in it?
Sure. If you go to our department website, which is csuohio.edu/music, there's a section for the keyboard conversations under special programs, and it will have the whole schedule there to see when they are and what he's playing on those.
Has there been any like real out there versions of this event, like with different music that you've never even heard before, or has it been kind of stuff that you've
Right.
known?
Jeffrey more or less keeps it in the realm of traditional repertoire, but in our department, like we just gave a concert the other night with our composition faculty, and it was all new music. And it was programmatic. It was Greg D'Alessio wrote most of it, and Andrew Rindfleisch, our other composer, wrote some. And in the program notes, it explains what the uh, what the stories are around the pieces and how they got composed. And those are brand new pieces. And then the composer's students, because we have a composition degree at the undergraduate and graduate level, they give concerts of student pieces. But if you look at the calendar of events on our site, the main calendar of events, it lists all our department things, and especially faculty recitals. I tend to, when I do my saxophone recitals, I tend to do new music and spend some time explaining it too. So it's available.
Well, thank you for joining me, Dr. Perrine, and thanks for everybody who listened today. Stay tuned for our next breaking story at the Cleveland Stater, and have a nice day.